Hey y'all, what's going on today? I thought I would tap in. Today is Saturday, April 5th. Um, it's a beautiful day outside. It's going to be in the 80s. I just kind of wanted to tap in today to talk about, something. Y'all know I'm on my spiritual journey. I'm basically recording my spiritual journey. The ups, the downs, the all around things from my perspective. The point of my video is not to convince anybody. I'm not a qualified physical doctor or any of that, but I'm qualified in my own right to speak on my own perceptions on this lip gloss or my own perspective of things, right? I am on a journey to figure out, how this life things works. You know what I mean? Not only physical, but mental and spiritually. And I'm basically doing research within myself every single day. Um, you know, it's just amazing how, you know, things work in life. Um, Not only am I going to talk about my spiritual journey, I'm going to also talk about the things that I'm in search for while I'm in this physical realm, on this physical body. Like at the moment, I am doing a multitude of things as far as getting to know who I am as an individual. Um, I'm on the search for my spiritual journey. Not only am I in search with that, getting to know myself mentally and spiritually, I'm also intrigued on the physical aspects of things because we cannot leave one or the other out. We cannot leave the physical out because we're functioning in it. Um, so I said all that to say I'm on a search to figure out how the physical body works. Y'all, our bodies are a walking computer. We are walking geniuses. We are walking intelligence, meaning every aspect of our physical body is intelligence from our head to our toe. Y'all know how that works. If you understand, your aura of your body, the chakras, and all of that other stuff. And if you look into the different parts of your body as far as the digestive system, the indigestion system, the nervous system, the brain systems, down to your muscles, to the cores, to the cells, the neurons, the electrons, the protons, all of that, right? All work in accordance with each other. We need all of these things to function in the physical body, right? So I'm reading a few books. I'm reading like 5 books at a time because I'm on this search of who I really am. You know what I mean? Not only, of course, spiritually, that's number one. We, in turn, you go in with all of that information. You know who you are, even though the way that society has built things to distract us of really finding out why we incarnated into these physical bodies in the first place is mind-boggling. So I'm on the search for a lot of things right now. I'm an open book to finding out who I am as an individual, physically, mentally, and spiritually. So with that being said, I'm reading this book. It's called what is it? Neuroscience for Dummies. Hold on, let me see if I can get the book. I'm on page, hold on so I won't lose my page. I am on page 46, so I got to remember that. I'm on the fighting or fleeing the autonomic nervous system. I'm reading about the nervous system. We have more than one nervous system, y'all. Like, I'm learning all these things. I thought we just had one. We got like 1, 2, 3. But yeah, I'm reading this book right here. It's called The Neuroscience for Dummies by Frank Amthor, PhD, Professor Emeritus of Psychology. This book right here. And it basically talks about the brain, the nervous system, and all of that. What intrigues me the most is how we function, how our brain functions, how we have two sides of the brain, the left hemisphere of the brain and the right hemisphere of the brain. And it just it's amazing how it all works, how the left side of the brain controls your right side of your body, and how your right side of the brain controls your left side of the body. And it basically talk about this information that's in the book. And it talks about the nervous system, how being in flight and fight mode all the time can disrupt, your entire nervous system. It can, it's just amazing. You have to look into it if you're interested in, learning about the brain and everything. But that's a journey that I'm on along with my spiritual journey. And it's amazing how, um, you know, how the brain works, how the body works. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's amazing. I'm gonna see if I can pull up certain pages to reference, because I'm not that good in translating, scientific information. I mean, I have the understanding on the inside, but as far as explaining these medical terms, to someone else. No, I can only speak on experience as far as what goes on in my life, how I feel, speaking on my trials and errors and all that other stuff and obstacles, and how I overcame it, and how I felt then and how I feel now, and how I, should navigate going forward. I can speak on things like that. But as far as teaching, things like this, I can recommend books that you can read to get a better understanding of what I'm talking about. But based off, I'm on page 46, right? And this book, down from the index and the glossary included, is like 398 pages. Like, it's a lot of information. It has a lot of medical terms that, explain all these different parts and concepts in the way that, our neurons work, and it just amazes me, because at the end of the day, it all boils down into who we are as species, as, cosmic beings, like in a whole intelligence system. Like, it's just amazing. It's mind blowing, because, in order to know who you are, not only, spiritually, it's important to know who you are physically. And it tells you in the book, everything that you need to know, it tells you in the book. Not I'm not saying read something and then just think that's just what it is, the end all be all. No, read and get a clear understanding and go within to get that confirmation, to, just take what resonates with you. Because a lot of the connections are happening within me reading these type of information. I'm like, okay, that made sense. Questions that I always had, it made sense, right? The left side of the brain pretty much controls the logical aspect of things like language, communication, speech, planning, reasoning, and things like that. I guess it's based off the logical sense of things, you know what I'm saying? Basically, operating in society, being able to operate in society as far as working jobs, being able to pay bills, being able to distinguish what's more important than not important in your life, and things like that. The right side of the brain pretty much deals with the creative side of yourself, your talents, your abilities, things like art, poetry, rhythm, music, just things that you enjoy doing that does not require things like language and all this other stuff, because it's based off imagination. And to be honest with you, I ain't gonna make this video too long, but I just wanted to say it made sense, because when I was smaller, I felt that I was more comfortable at my right side hemisphere of the brain, as far as creativity wise. I enjoy writing, making music, dancing, listening to music, different tunes, drawing, writing stories. Like, I'm more, aligned with my creative side versus my left side, which is the logical, which they label as common sense, right? But yeah, we need both hemispheres of our brain. But like I said, if you read this book, it will explain a lot of things, and it's amazing. You know what I mean? How being too much in fight or flight mode, being stressed out, chronic stress, it hinders your physical body. It can make you sick. It creates disease. It creates dysfunction within your digestive system, your nervous system. You know what I mean? It all makes sense as far as society is concerned. How they created, how they did, a certain group of people, because at the end of the day, like I said, the story go deep. It would take more than a 10-minute video, but I just thought that I would check in today and just, this is what I've been up to, you know what I mean, despite other things that I got going on in my life. I wanted to get to know myself better, you know what I mean, me, myself, and I want to get to know myself better, because at the end of the day, no matter the perceptions, the opinions of others, that does not matter. What matters is how you feel about yourself. How do you portray yourself? What you do, where you are with yourself to make the necessary changes to become more alignment with yourself. Because at the end of the day, somebody on the outside of yourself, I don't care if it's a doctor, a psychologist, a psychotherapist, whatever, they can't tell you. They're going off of books too. Yeah, they're going off the criteria that was, who knows. But at the end of the day, through my experiences, can't nobody tell you who you are as an individual. And another thing that I learned from this book, the brain model, it looks similar, but no one brain is identical. It's unique, like a fingerprint. Even with twins, they can be identical twins, but they have two different fingerprints. Why is that? Have y'all ever questioned why is that? Why not one person have the same identical fingerprint? So it makes sense too that same with the brain. Yeah, it has similarities, but it functions different, and it's not identical. So that's what kind of bothers me, even when I was young, how they can group people in the same box, and people think different, people process information different, people see things from a different perspective. Basically, aka what that was, as far as institutions, schools, and prisons and all this other stuff, is based off of programming. So they want to program you to think on one accord. And I'm at a point in my life, I'm not thinking on one accord. Even back then, as a young child, I wasn't thinking on one accord, even though it may not have been something that I totally understood at that time. But based off experiences of where I came from and where I am now, I definitely look at things from a different perspective and know, like, I knew it was something to this. I knew I didn't feel a certain way then. It's amazing. I can go deep, you know what I mean? I will eventually, once I do lives and things like that. But I'm not trying to cram too much information in this video. I thought that I would check in. It's a beautiful day. This is some of the things that I am on in my life right now versus, trying to come out of this type of space that I'm in, as far as trying to find a permanent address and getting settled in with that, and trying to find some type of financial income, aka a job, to get up on my feet, to continue my journey in this life. Because again, I can go on and on and on. In order to be able to survive, you give your energy, you know what I mean, in these jobs, and to be able to feed yourself, you know what I mean. Like, it's sick as fuck. I can go on and on, but I don't want to go no more than 15 minutes in this video, so I'm going to end it here. I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope you are being kind to others, especially yourself, number one, because if you're kind to yourself, then that energy from the inside will definitely radiate on the outside. So just be mindful of how you treat others, and just be compassionate with yourself and others. Treat yourself how you want to treat others how you want to treat yourself. I'm still in the learning process of that too. Purpose of my videos is not to make it seem like I'm perfect, because perfect is born in my eyes. And in order to grow some type of character development and so forth, and align and evolve, you have to understand, overstand who you are as an individual, physical, mental, and spiritual. So with that being said, have an amazing day. peace, people.